I'll unhide the door and take a closer look at it. You might remember that I talked about the AEC door frames as being problematic. That's because there's often a conflict between which face will be shown. The door frame and the end of the wall are coplanar, and you can see both of them here. So there's no telling which one will actually render. For this reason, I don't like to let the doors create frames. I'll use the sweep modifier to make a door frame. So I need to make a path for that. I'll hide the base molding and sketch in a line using vertex snap. There's no need to use AutoGrid here. Sweep will work in any orientation. Now I'll assign the sweep modifier, and we'll use a different built-in section. This time I'll use channel. And this was designed obviously for a metal object, but it works just as well to simulate a door frame. I'll set up its parameters. The length is this dimension, so let's make it just a little bit more than the thickness of the wall. I'll make it 7 inches, so we have a 1-inch overlap on both sides. And I'll make it 3 inches wide. I'll give it a 0 thickness, and we'll talk about the corner radius later. The first thing you need to do is concern yourself with the alignment, and it looks pretty good with the initial setting. I will need to offset it to get it in the right position though. X offset moves it into the wall or out of the wall, so I'll move it just slightly out of the wall so that I can be sure that the frame is inboard within the opening slightly. That way we won't have a conflict with the wall. Y controls this dimension, so I'd like to pop it out about 1 inch so we get an overlap on both sides of the wall. I think it's a bit too wide. Let's make it only 2 inches thick here. That's better. Let's put it there and move it inboard just slightly. Let's test it with a door. I'll close the door and then open it a little bit, and it looks fine. One additional thing you can do with door frames is add a little corner radius to both the inside and the outside, and that will just break the light a little bit when you're looking at it and make it look more realistic. This is something you can't do with the AEC door frame, and it makes this swept frame more attractive. I'll unhide all, and you can't tell the problem here because they're the same color. Let me change the color of the frame, and you'll see that there's an overlap down here. You could let it be, or correct it so that there's no overlap by going into the base molding and moving its vertices back a little bit so that they don't overlap. Remember, The way this works is by passing a segment selection up the stack. So I have to go back to segment level and then go up the stack to keep that open. So there you have it, a swept door frame as well as a base molding.